Hello, this is Practical Tips for Pup Clips. My name is Chelsea, and this is my dog, Fizzgig. Fizzgig has had many looks over the years. As you can see, he's been lots of different things. The most recent thing he's been was the frog, and I had some leftover blue hair dye from that, so we are going to make him into a Lisa Frank style panda bear today. I loved how his panda bear turned out last time, and I love blue. So I love this one, and I hope you guys enjoy the transformation too. I'm trimming up his tail right now, simply because less hair means less dye I have to use, and his tail was a little fluffy. The rest of his body length is pretty much where I want it though. Remember, a good rule of thumb for any time you're doing hair cutting on the dog is that whenever you go from long to short, you want a smooth transition or blending in between. So to trim his tail up, I'm just trimming it basically to the tip and then trimming very short around the base of the tail too, and then kind of smoothing the length in between so it's not abrupt short to long. I'm trimming the tail short and round to give it a little pom-pom look that I'm wanting to get for my panda bear look. So like I said, I'm using turquoise that I had left over from the frog, but I also bought another tube of Caribbean blue to mix in just to make sure I had enough to get his full color done, which ended up getting all used, and I got a good finished look, so it was just enough. I got the tools to do this at a local hair and beauty shop. It was maybe $15 with a little mixing set of 3 containers and brushes so that I could apply the dye. I love the firm bristles that these brushes have. It helps me push the dye all the way down to his skin. And I do also recommend wearing gloves, but for some reason I decided to only glove one hand, which was really silly, as I will show you at the end.
Come and show it. Tell me what you feel in your heart and your soul. There's nothing I would take for granted. With me, we'll make it through. Takes 2 hearts to fix heartbreak. We grew apart, I made a mistake, but I'll try to make it up to you, my darling. Ooh.
So I'm pulling out my phone now and Googling panda pictures so that I can have something to look at while I work. Yeah, that showed up too. Okay, got my picture here. I'm going to be doing his ears, around his eyes, across his shoulders and his front legs, and then his back legs, but not all the way across the back. I'll also throw in his tail just because I think that makes it extra cute. I'm going to keep my phone sitting nearby just to have a reference to look at while I work. Another thing I'll keep close by is puppy wipes, just in case I get a splash of paint somewhere that I didn't mean to, especially close to the eyes and nose. In my experience, I've found that as long as you don't let it sit and you get it right up and don't push it down to the skin with your brush, the paint actually comes off of the areas you unintentionally get it on, which is one nice thing. If you act quickly, you can avoid some mistakes that way. That's also the reason why I do the dye before I give them a bath and haircut, because if I do make a bad mistake that I need to cut out, I can fix that afterwards. I use the brush to push backwards on these long stringy hairs he has on his face to make sure I'm getting down to the roots and not just coating the top layer of his hair. I went down a little further under his eye than I meant to, by the way, but that's what happens sometimes when you're doing your own dog. It's pretty low pressure, so, you know, don't get too upset about it if you make a little mistake. It's still gonna be cute anyways. Just by the way, as a side note, make sure if you do this, you have good ventilation in the room because this stuff does get pretty strong. I'm gonna go all the way around his eyes, and I have to be really careful not to get it too close. Make sure if you're ever doing this on your own dog that you don't get it in their eye. If Fizz wasn't so well behaved, there would be no way that I could get this detailed on him, especially in this area. But in case you didn't know, a Pomeranian's job in life is to be held, so as long as I'm touching him, he is pretty much living his dream. Alright, so this is a little off topic, but if you're a nerd like me and you just like to learn about dog breeds, I'll let you know that Fizz is a Pomeranian mixed with a Lhasa Apso, and some of the tendencies that his breeds have are to have luxating patellas, which are back legs that pop out of joint basically, but they can also be put back in. They're also prone to trachea issues. A lot of small breeds actually have both of those problems, and that's exactly why I always put the grooming loop not just around the neck, but also around one of their front legs. That way there's no pressure on the throat at all. Newsflash, dogs will choke themselves if you put the grooming loop around their neck. They want it tight so that they feel more secure. And so if you know a dog is prone to having trachea issues, please, please, please do not put a loop just around their neck. And Fizzgig is mixed with the Pomeranian and Lhasa, and if you know the history of the Lhasa, they were literally bred to be alarm bells in monasteries and things like that. So this guy has definitely inherited all the traits of the Pom and the Lhasa, as in he loves being held, and he also is an alarm bell too. He's 100% talk though. I mean, just look at him. What is he gonna do? Here I've got to pull out the white because I wanted to leave a line in between his eyes that wasn't painted, so he has the full circles around his eyes like the panda and not a full mask like a raccoon. But I did actually get really close together. His face is tiny, okay? But it's fine because I did give it a wipe, so I know that it'll fade quickly enough. At the end of the video, I'll show you how it grew out, and it turned out just fine, so don't worry. He's not gonna look like a raccoon for long. Also, since it is between his eyes, I can trim that out. Kind of trim it up when he's all done and help out with that look. I started this project around 10 p.m., okay? I told myself I wasn't doing the haircut tonight, but you'll see I was not able to help myself by the time he was done. And on the other side, I'm just going to do my best to match the first side. And I splashed a bit on his spot. That's supposed to stay white, so I'm quickly wiping that off before it sets in. Thankfully, you cannot even tell after the bath. And Fizz says, "Quit now, please." Throughout this video, you're going to see me constantly going back and redoing parts. To make sure I have enough dye, I'll do a quick coat on each area and then come back afterward to get more detailed on any spots that I missed.
feels right. With you, I'm heavy breathing. Feels like I'm lucid dreaming. I'm not usually the type to rush into the night.
Now it's time to start the shoulders and front legs. I'll do a lot of reversing here to make sure I'm getting through his thick coat down to the root. But again, have to remember, I can always come back and touch things up later. I want to make sure I have enough to cover his whole body.
I'm taking it slow, but I just want more. I'm taking it slow, just go with the flow. I'm taking it slow, my knees on the floor. I'm begging for more. It's you I adore. You took me to see Versailles in the middle of July. I'm falling to the deep end, giving into my feelings, afraid to go on this ride. I'm scared to crash inside. This time I might be speeding. I'm taking it slow, but I just want more. I'm taking it slow, just go with the flow. I'm taking it slow, but I just want more. I'm taking it slow, just go with the flow. I'm taking it slow, my knees on the floor. I'm begging for more. It's you I
I don't wanna go too far away. Yeah, I've got no direction. Yeah, I just wanna call you to feel safe, but I got no reception. I always wanna know what's wrong, but end up coming off too strong.
By the way, like I said, it's late at night and not getting any earlier, so I've got my music on, and yes, you will notice me dancing and singing. Gotta stay up somehow.
Help me, help you. I'll do what it takes. I'll make a mistake. I'll do what it takes. I'll make a mistake. And tell me how you're feeling, oh, 'cause I can't feel for you, no. Tell me all your deepest secrets are no fun. And I always wanna know what's wrong, but end up coming off too strong. And I just wanna help. Will you let me in? Will you let me in? Help me, help you. Help me, help you. I'll do what it takes. I'll make a mistake.
So I'm literally just eyeballing both sides of him, looking over top of him, gonna get both sides as even as possible. It does not have to be perfect, I'm just mostly looking at how wide the stripe is, if it looks about straight. Just eyeballing it. I know what you're thinking. Chelsea, is this really practical grooming? Hear me out. When you think of these crazy color grooms, you might think of things like this. And that is not something I can do. But what I think is fun about this is it kind of bridges the gap between those crazy poodle competitions versus what anyone could do to their own dog at home. So long as your dog behaves, this is actually pretty fun and easy thing to do. When I first started trying to do it, there just wasn't any really good videos online out there explaining how to do it. So hopefully this is helpful to sort of bridge that gap between crazy, competitive, professional groomer and what any groomer or owner could do for their own dog. In another practical way, this could also be a warning to predators because pretty sure Coyote is going to think twice about going after this little guy with the poisonous looking color he's going to turn out to. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the case or not. Definitely don't take my word on that. I just think he might think twice. Poor little Fizzy. In the beginning I said that he was my dog, but that's only partially true. See, he was supposed to be the little lap dog that I always wanted. I even decided that I wanted a Pomeranian mix. Yes, you heard that right, a Pom mix. Not a full Pom, but a Pom mix. And this is him. He is the literal dog that was a dream dog for me. And yes, I did pay for him. And I do pay for everything for him. But in spite of all that, he chose my daughter to be his person. It's okay, it's okay. I don't mind, it's adorable. And if you've seen the Dark Crystal, you know his namesake, the Fizzgig, is always following a blonde girl around. So it actually ended up being ridiculous how accurate his name ended up being. So I say poor Fizzy because poor little guy, I had to pull him out of bed to do this groom. Pull him away from his little girl. You'll notice the later it gets, the longer this goes on, the increasingly sleepier he gets too.
Makes my nose bleed. It's so hard to believe that one day I'll feel peace. I want control over my life. I want that driver's seat. Yeah, it's not you that I need. You push me down when I'm weak. You were never there for me. Go pick up your keys and leave. I can't go back to you, my friend. Don't lean and ask. Don't play pretend. You think you're everything I need, but I got in Can't go back to you, my friend. Don't even ask, don't play pretend. Cause you think you are everything I need, but I gotta leave.
Talk to me, show me all that hurts you did. Soak my shirt in all your tears, so I can talk with you. Breathe to me, tales of things that haunt your dreams. Set the brush and paint the scene, so I can breathe with you. The grass
feet. The cloth rubs on your knees. So darling, when the rain comes crashing in, I'll be right here and listen to you sing.
Once again, I'm making sure to check both sides, trying to get the dye even. You can see how close the shoulder line is to his eye on the right side here. So I need to put more on his left shoulder here to try to match that line on the other side. You can see how it's looking here now. A little bit lacking behind the elbow on the right side. I'm gonna just continue working on my lines until they look even. Alright, my paint here is looking about halfway gone, so it's time to start on his back end. Like I said before, I can always come back and touch up anything that I missed later as long as I have the extra paint, but I want to make sure I get a good coverage on the whole pattern before I do that.
we go.
I'm not gonna go all the way across his back like I did across his shoulders. Remember, the picture of the panda bear just has the rounded hip look. So that's what I'm gonna do on here. And it's time to mix more paint. Just to make sure I get all the last little bits of paint out, I'm leaving those bottles standing upright on their lids just to help it all fall down, and I can get every last bit out to make sure I get all the coverage that I need and don't have any left over.
Round and round we go. Picture perfect, but so many flows to stop you. I don't wanna ever see you in the same room. I open up and then you hate on all my issues. Round and round we go. We go. Oh yeah.
Listen up, says my teacher. In front of the class, he says if you're not a believer, of you, that's on you. Better shape up and pay your dues. Of my views, that's on you. I'll be on a flight soon to Vienna singing. Ooh, gotta know all this propaganda. How do you do? Better get away my own medicine for you. I'm never gonna make them think I'll stand there. For all the things that I've said, pushing me closer to the edge. And I don't know that lose. Don't mind if I do. For all the things that I've said, pushing me closer to the edge. And I don't know that lose. Don't mind if I do. Free as the wind and as strong as a piece of amber. Give me a breath like the fire you'll soon remember. Ooh, I'll be on the fleet soon to the end. I'm singing. Ooh, gotta know all this propaganda. How do you do? For all the things that I've said, pushing me closer to the edge. And I don't know that lose. Don't mind if I do. For all the things that I've said, pushing me closer to the edge. And I don't know that lose. Don't mind if I do.
Here, just like with the front end, I'm gonna make sure I keep checking on both sides to see if those rounded lines are about even, the same height up and the same look as much as possible. I'm just eyeballing it, guys. This is not anything crazy to do. As long as the dog holds still, anyone can do this. This is nothing fancy, nothing special. Just have a dog that holds still and some paint and a good paintbrush. You can do this.
Never thought I'd believe in miracles. You made me realize that you're the only one. Don't need to tell me what the future holds. Oh, I'll be fine, 'cause we'll be laying in the sun. So you can let your head down. I'll hide all of your worries away, and we don't have to go now. I wish I could live this life on replay. Don't need to make plans, it's all in your hands. I'm too busy, I'm spending all my time with you. Driving through the states, don't know what awaits. It don't matter, I'm spending all my time with you. I'm spending all my time. I'm spending all my time with you. Oh, I'm spending all my time. I'm spending all my time with you. I've seen your smile light up the darkest rooms. I'll put your love on top, 'cause I know you will too. You get more beautiful like flowers bloom. I've never felt this yet, it feels like deja vu. So you can let your head down. I'll hide all of your worries away, and we don't have to go now. I wish I could live this life on replay. So you can let your head down. I'll hide all of your worries away, and we don't have to go now. I wish I could live this life on replay. Don't need to make plans, it's all in your hands. I'm too busy, I'm spending all my time with you. Driving through the states, don't know what awaits. It don't matter, I'm spending all my time with you. I'm spending all my time. I'm spending all my time with you. I'm spending all my time. I'm spending all my time with you.
Got a ticket to nowhere. Come and fly away with me tonight. Can you stay till the morning? Can you tell me that everything's alright? Lose my mind and I'm falling for you. I get up, I'm in need of us too. Got a ticket to nowhere. When the fighting is over, it goes on and on and on and on. On and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. On and on and on.
The sleepy boy needs a break now, so it's time to switch to the tail and let him have a sit.
You don't have to tell me you don't care. I just need you to hold me. I just need you to show me anything. Lose my mind and I'm falling for you. I get up, I'm in need of us too. Got a ticket to nowhere. When the fighting is over, it goes on and on and on and on. On and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on.
throw away the city lights, throw away the cars. Give me a clear night underneath all the stars. I don't want no concrete jungles, no suburbia. I just want somewhere that the blue skies are. So come with me to a place afar, where the palm trees dance and sway. So run with me. If we leave right now, we might make it in time. The sunset is fading, but the light's not gone. The ocean waves have just begun. The water is calling, the night is young. So if I lay down, will you come? So if I lay down, will you come? So if I lay down, will you come? I don't wanna leave this place, I don't wanna go. For some reason I felt like that I've always known. This is where we're meant to stay, where we should be. This place is where the sun shines forever free. The sunset is fading, but the light's not gone. The ocean waves have just begun. The water is calling, the night is young. So if I lay down, will you come? Follow, so follow. So if I lay down, will you come? Follow, so follow. So if I lay down, will you come? So if I lay down, will you come? So if I lay down, will you come? The sunset is fading, but the light's not gone. The ocean waves have just begun. The water is calling, the night is young. So if I lay down, will you come? Still got a hold on me. Even without you here. Still got a hold on me. Even without you here. Still got a hold on me.
And time to go back for those last few drops of dye. Here's what I use for the dog's ears. It's just the stretchy part of a large sock with 2 holes cut in it. My biggest regret of this whole thing was not doing this first. I really wish that I had left the dye sitting on his ears longer because they're the darkest color that's on him. He's got some black on his ears. So, oh well. You live and learn, but really wish I had done those first so they could have sat longer, but it's alright.
Nothing changes if nothing changes. Nothing changes, nothing changed. Without you here in the cages, nothing changes.
He cracks me up with how he leans into it so hard, like, oh, that feels so good. He would have slumped right off the table if I let him. Obviously, I'm not getting it in his ear canals, but the dye works itself off the skin pretty easily, so I do get all around his ear leather anywhere there's hair.
She's probably asleep. A white collar, she doesn't wanna meet.
falling in love for the first time, all over again. Hold on tight to the feeling, but it's a roller coaster in my head. So I'm holding myself on a precipice, and I've been dreaming off the ground. So I'm looking for something that's definite. I'm praying you don't let me down. It's gotta be all. It's gotta be all or nothing. All or nothing. Oh, it's gotta be all or nothing. All or nothing. It's gotta be all or nothing. It's gotta be all or nothing. Oh, or nothing at all. Hold these doubts like the playing cards close to my chest. Turn them.
After over an hour of work, we are going to let him sit just a little bit longer to let those ears set in. Time to head to the bath. The rinsing was pretty boring to watch, but just make sure you rinse until the water runs clear. You can use a shampoo, and I do recommend a conditioner for the skin. It'll also help retain the color and of course make the hair softer.
It's gotta be all or nothing, all or nothing. Oh, it's gotta be all or nothing, all or nothing. Oh, it's gotta be all or nothing. Oh, it's gotta be all or nothing, all or nothing. It's gotta be all or nothing. It's gotta be all or nothing. Oh, or nothing at all.
We keep seeing their eyeballs glued to us on the sidewalk, but that look could kill. Oh, they are trying so hard to find all the weaknesses inside, but it's gonna spill. Oh, can we take a minute, turn and face the critics? Let's put flowers in our hair like we don't care.
When I put the happy hoodie on, it made him blep, so I had to show you that, but he was like, nah, come on, let's get done here.
You and me, and making me laugh with your moves. Ain't no stopping our groove. That's good. It's just you and me, and we can clown around, yeah. And we can clown around, and it's just you and me. Oh, you and me are a vibe, girl. Disco, some fun like one of a kind, girl. Till morning's here. When opinions start to guide us, we won't let them define us. No, we'll play it by ear. And I know that you're shy, but we can clown around tonight. You know the circus leaves town when it's light, and there's a village clown moves. Nobody's stopping our groove. Ooh, that's good. It's just you and me, and making me laugh with your moves. Ain't no stopping our groove. Ooh, that's good. It's just you and me, and we can clown around, yeah. And we can clown around, and it's just you and me. Now it's your turn to clown around and take a train to Freaky Town, and we could just clown around like this, you know. We could just clown around a bit and dance Just a village clown moves. Nobody's stopping our groove. Oh, that's good. It's just you and me. And making it clap with your moves. Ain't no stopping our groove. Oh, that's good. It's just you and me. And we can clown around, yeah. And we can clown around. And it's just you and me. And we can clown around, yeah. And we can clown around when it's just you and me.
Live a little, that is what they said when you turn around and left for good. But the taste is bitter, lonely in my bed, keep thinking about what we was at, it's true.
But it's hard to get over such a beautiful lie. When I still want you closer, I am longing for closure, and I'm wondering why. No matter what I do, I keep on falling for you. I keep on falling for you. I keep on.
I love it! It's beautiful! We are both tired, and I told myself that I wasn't going to do his haircut tonight. I could just do it tomorrow, it's fine. But I loved how it turned out so much I could not resist going ahead and doing his groom too.
I am longing for closure, and I'm wondering why. No matter what I do, I keep on falling for you. Lately you don't feel like yourself, and you kinda hate it. You suppress all of the thoughts in your head and say it's complicated. You hide your pain, but I can see it etched on your face. I know the feeling, swear you're okay, but you're barely breathing. Don't you walk away. 'Cause I feel you getting lost, I feel you trailing off. Feel it in your words when you say there's nothing wrong. There's something so subliminal about the way that your hands shake whenever you talk. You stare into space like you're lost in your thoughts, surrounded by your paper walls. Tell me what's been going on. Tell me what's been going on. I was so caught up thinking about myself, never took time to listen. Couldn't see that you were going through hell. Now you're cold and distant. You say you're fine, but your heart is bleeding. Read me those lines, but they lost the meaning. I know something isn't right. See the demons in your eyes. I know you're afraid. I feel you getting lost, I feel you trailing off. Feel it in your words when you say there's nothing wrong. There's something so subliminal about the way that your hands shake stuck, stare into space like you're lost in your thoughts. Surrounded by your paper walls. Tell me what's been going on.
I'm using my chunkers to give him a rounded look. Everything about a panda is round, so that's what we're going for. Here I am cleaning up that line, making it less of a raccoon mask, making it more of panda eyes. Just gonna trim out the hair in between where the eyes are not supposed to be touching, but they are. Once again, this is why I only dye dogs that still require a haircut and bath, because there's a lot you can do as far as fixing mistakes with scissors when you're done.
Here we are, we locked down in different cities, and our virtual connection falls apart. Guess it's been too many years since California. Now the memories of us is all I have. See, one day I'm gonna reach ya, take a plane for many miles. We pretend that time didn't pass us by when we're on Mulholland Drive. I know it won't be long before dawn, gotta be patient for a while. Someday we'll look at stars in the same sky. When I'm on me back to the life that we once knew, when the walls weren't closing in like they are now. Cause it's been too many years since California. I wish I could get there, I don't know how. See, one day I'm gonna reach ya, take a plane for many miles. We pretend that time didn't pass us by when we're on Mulholland Drive. I know it won't be long before dawn, gotta be patient for a while. Someday we'll look at stars in the same sky, when I'm on the other side.
Missing little moments, it was easy just feeling alive. 2 a.m. wide awake, talking like we had the whole night. And I don't know if I said this right. No, I don't know how the days gone by. Missing little moments, it was easy just feeling alive. Every now and again, I trace my steps back to then.
I remember everything for a panda is going to be round, even his ears. So I'm rounding the tips of those, taking off any long stringy pieces. Always be really careful trimming near a dog's ears. You can hold the ear leather, keep your fingertip over top of it, that way it's impossible for you to accidentally snip it with your scissors. One little flick is all it takes to get caught in your scissors, so be careful. Thankfully, Fizz is basically asleep now, so he's good.
And I don't know how to do this right. No, I don't know how the years gone by. Searching for the moments I'm a little less 25. Every now and again, I trace my steps back to then. Ooh, I want that feeling. It's all that I needed to move on, to feel it. It's all that I needed. It's all that I needed. I want that feeling. It's all that I needed to move on, to feel it. It's all that I needed. To move on, to feel it. It's all that I needed. How the years go by, searching for the moments I'm a little less 25. A little less 25. A little less. Searching for the moments I'm a little less 20. A little less 25. been trying to fight the demons in my mind. I'll prevail with every battle if I'm right. Guess my aim was off, the target's out of sight. Would I be better if I left it all behind? 'Cause we could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way. We could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We can find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way. We can find a We can find a way. Just take my hand. We'll leave this place behind. No second chance. I know there's more to find. 'Cause we could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way.
He's looking around, so now I'm just going to breeze my 1.5-inch clip comb over his whole body to quickly take off the ends and complete the finished look.
We could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We can find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way. We can find a
I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions, your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings.
finally, just to finish up, I will be pulling out my number 7 buttercut blade to do his sanitary, his armpits. The last thing I'll do is pull out my 30 blade and do his paw pads in another minute.
I get lost in your eyes every time, there's no turning back. Swear I ain't got a chance. Had me caught up in you since the night on the terrace, yeah. You had me falling fast. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions. Your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got tunnel vision 'cause I'm out tonight. It's
And here's why I should have put that other glove on. If you're watching this video, you'll be in the know on how these blue stains on my table got here forever. I did make a mental note to use a thicker towel for him to sit on next time I do something like this.
Oh, I got lost on the way to you in an orange sky by the ocean blue. Every mile lost, my soul renewed, taken by the sunrise and the golden view. Walking slowly in the mountains underneath the constellations. Yeah, I know that you've been waiting for me. Time is losing all its meaning, like I'm living in a dream, and I've been chasing all the feelings I need. It's in these moments with words unspoken, my eyes wide open, life tastes so sweet. It's in these moments where all I know is coming into focus, and now I see. It's in these moments. It's in these moments. Oh, I know that you've been waiting. It's in these moments. Oh, I got lost on a winding road in the dark of night with the stars aglow. Heaven's up above, got me below as I head to you like the river flows. Walking slowly in the mountains underneath the constellations. Yeah, I know that you've been waiting for me. Time is losing all its meaning, like I'm living in a dream, and I've been chasing all the feelings.
And all done! Just before midnight. And did I mention that I love it?